Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. The other day, I half-seriously made the observation that Major League Baseball needs some contingency plans concerning canceling games due to the coronavirus that we all are worried about. The government and many businesses are canceling meetings or events that will have over 1,000 people in attendance. Imagine the medical problems that will take place when 20,000 people show up for NCAA tournament basketball games, including the ones at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland and the 30,000 plus that will be routinely showing up during the first weeks of the baseball season. Bringing up the entertainment aspect of what's going on seems a little meaningless when you see what is going on in Seattle, Nashville, and even Wall Street. The way we conduct business around here may be changing right in front of our very eyes, and that includes watching and playing the sports we love. The D-Man Dennis Manoloff is here. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 24th consecutive year and seen exclusively on cleveland.com. To my right is the D-Man Dennis Manoloff, WTAM.com. When are you working next, tonight?
I have a full show Friday night.
Friday night?
Yeah, I just had one last night.
Full show means what, 7 to
7 to 11, yeah.
7 to 11
for me.
p.m.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're up anyway.
Yeah, it's fun to do nighttime shows.
A lot of stuff I want to get to, including Colin Cowherd, who's picking on Cleveland again, but he understands that gets people riled up, so that's why he does it. But I want to talk a little bit about Terry Francona. What do we know? Is a stomach ailment? What do we know? Yeah,
we just know that he wasn't available today, and Santos Alomar took his place, and you certainly hope that it's just a bug of some sort, small thing, but with Terry Francona's medical history, you get a little nervous every time he misses, because he's a baseball lifer, he's a baseball gamer.
He's going to try to stick it out.
Yeah, if he has to stay home, or the doctors say he should stay home, then it must be something more than just, No,
and this, especially early in the year, that you need Terry Francona here with the pitching rotation and everything else. All right, what about the Cavaliers? Speaking of guys being sick, Cavaliers hosting the Boston Celtics. Nobody's playing, right?
Yeah, the Celtics, let's see, they don't have Hayward, Brown, or Walker, I believe. And the Browns, I don't think.
Not the Browns.
Cavs, I don't think have Thompson, Drummond, and Garland. So
if one team has three guys out, the other team has to have three guys out also? Is that how
Horse
that works?
trading, yeah.
216-575-0403. Are you following the Tom Brady escapades here?
Yeah.
Some of it's wild.
I think it's incredible, and I wouldn't count Brady out for leaving. I would say the odds now are probably in favor of him leaving. I don't know that he would want it to get to this point if he was automatically staying.
Right.
And by the way, who's to tell Tom Brady that he has to stay a Patriot for the remainder of his career?
Nobody. In fact, I'm not sure. I don't know where Belichick stands on this. Do you think he wants him back or
not?
Well,
there's a report out that Brady and Belichick spoke, at least on the phone, and it didn't go particularly well.
But so which way? Didn't go well from Belichick to Brady, or Brady to Belichick?
That's a great point. I can certainly see where both sides, both men, would like to try to do something without the other.
Sure.
Brady wants to show, hey, I can win a Super Bowl without Bill, and Belichick says, I want to win a Super Bowl without Brady. Think about how many guys actually stay with the same team the entire career. I mean, look at Joe Montana, Thomas. Look at Jerry Rice, look at Emmitt Smith. I mean, these legends, eventually, if they play long enough, are going to move on.
Well, the money changes that now because of the slotting and as far as payroll is concerned. How about this? Talking about Brady's from Northern California, so he might want to go home and play. You got Garoppolo there with the Niners. So Garoppolo was his understudy in New England. So how about if Brady signs on, they cut Garoppolo, and Belichick picks him up?
Yeah, that would be fascinating because for a while we thought Belichick really did want Garoppolo and was hoping Garoppolo would be able to replace Brady a few years ago. But Brady said, I want to keep playing. So what is Belichick going to do at that point? But I doubt that very seriously. I think that the Niners, on the list of teams where Brady might go, I think the Niners is down the list.
I think it's enticing to have him there for a year or two, but it really messes up your whole franchise.
Yeah, I mean, if you're saying Super Bowl or bust in 2020, it makes sense. But you also have to realize that Jimmy Garoppolo played, you could make a case he was outplaying Mahomes for 3/4 of the Super Bowl.
But the game is 4 quarters.
I know, but I'm just saying, and I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo was horrible by any means. For certainly to get him there, to help get him there.
Well, even if they use Brady for a year or two and they lose Garoppolo, then they got to go find another quarterback.
That's true.
Which is, as we know, is very hard to do. All right, Colin Cowherd back in the news. Anytime he rips Cleveland, Cleveland fans respond to that.
What day is it?
It's a love-hate relationship. All right, so here's what Colin said about Odell Beckham. I've said from the beginning that I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. fits in Cleveland. If you go back and look at Baker-Mayfield's targets of Odell Beckham last year, Baker was awful. He felt like he had to force the ball to him. He completed only 55% of his throws when targeting Odell, last in the NFL. This is not working for Baker, and it doesn't work for Odell. He's not a player that we should bail on, but he's a player that Cleveland should move away from. Cleveland doesn't need another star receiver, and Odell needs structure. And when I say structure, you think of the Cleveland Browns, right? No, I don't believe that's correct.
For once in my life, I agree with virtually everything that came out of Colin Cowherd's mouth relating to a Cleveland Browns or a Cleveland sports subject. However, the Browns are not going to move on from Beckham in 2020 because the new regime has come in and said, we do things differently. This isn't Freddie Kitchens and John Dorsey. For example, Stefanski and Van Pelt will figure out ways to get Odell the ball without forcing it. So they're going to say they want their crack at Odell for a season before they move on.
Yeah, but there's some circumstances involved, and that is the injury and the surgery that he had.
Yes, there is. A potential suitor in a trade would be like, how much do we really want to give you if we don't know exactly what he's going to be like? You also have to worry about Jarvis-Landry as well.
Sure.
Because Landry's got the hip surgery. Beckham had the core surgery. You do this and you go, all right, which one was worse? Which one's going to keep him out longer? They have the medicals. But if you were to move on from Beckham and Landry wasn't right, then you're 0 for 2. Then what?
Well, then what is you have potentially the best running game in the business.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true, but what do you do at receiver? If Beckham has been sent out and presumably you don't get a receiver in return, and then Landry, his injury stalls him, then you've got an issue. So at the very least, Beckham could be a hedge.
Yeah, but you're not going to know about Beckham until he actually puts the gear on and plays.
That's a great point, and that's the sticky wicket for Stefanski and the install. I'm sure they want to, they want to maximize Beckham's talents, but they also they're going to butt up against this Beckham timetable, just as Kitchens did.
Right, exactly. All right, we'll talk about that and more. We're going to take a look at first and second round, the first round picks for the Cleveland Browns since they returned in 1999. Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the last 6 months? People are winning in record numbers, and winning is happening all around the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today from the Ohio Lottery. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content is posted each and every day. We got a good question today that a lot of you have responded to. We'll come back in a moment. We'll take a look at the Browns' history of first-round picks. It's not a pretty sight. More Sports and Les Levine continues with the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, exclusively on cleveland.com.
The heart-pounding, fast-breaking action of college basketball is back when the 2020 Mid-American Conference Basketball Tournament returns to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse March 11th through the 14th. Presented by Visit Myrtle Beach. Pulses will rise and hearts will race as the men and women of the MAC put it all on the line. Tickets for the MAC tournament are on sale now online at rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com and at all Northern Ohio discount drug marts. MAC Tournament Basketball. Be there.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Birthdays for today: Gregarious, 1947.
Why do you have to have that guy's picture up?
Because it's his birthday. Draymond Green. Come on, wish him a happy birthday. Kevin Johnson, Cavs had him. Landon Donovan, Draymond Green on the left. Nick Castellanos, born in 1992, as was former Buckeye and former Celtic Jared Sullinger. Is he still? He's not in the league anymore.
Well, no, but didn't Sullinger win the that 3-on-3 tournament? I thought his Buckeye team won that.
Yeah.
With Kraft and those guys. I think Sully might have even been the coach.
Could have been. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. Let's see. Tomorrow night, Dan Lobby will join us from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. We'll talk Cleveland Browns football. Let's talk Cleveland Browns football now. We're going to take a look at the history of first-round picks. And you talk about how teams are shaped and how they recover from it. Look at this. Tim Couch was first one picked.
I mean, that's pretty much an automatic. I don't have an issue with that pick.
Unless you figure your quarterback is going to get hurt, which he did.
Well, Achilles Smith was the other guy on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and he didn't pan out.
No. Courtney Brown, the defensive end, taken in
Quiet
2000.
Storm, a lot of people loved him, but he didn't pan out.
2001, third pick of the draft was Gerard Warren, nicest guy ever arrested by the Pittsburgh Police Department, right? That's what Carmen Policy told us. William Green, Run, William, Run. Yeah. 2002, he was the 16th pick.
What was it, Joey Porter?
Jeff Fain, before the game.
Jeff
Fain. But they both got thrown out of that game, didn't they?
Yes.
Before the game ever started. Jeff Fain was a great center, played in the Super Bowl. I don't remember if he won or not.
Wow.
Kellen Winslow, what was wrong with that pick? Who knew that was going to go so wrong? And 2005, Braylon Edwards, who pulled out the Michigan card and said, fans don't like him here because of that, which is about the most absurd thing you can say. Ask Leroy Horde how Cleveland fans responded. Cameron Wembley in 2006. Joe Thomas, that was a pretty good pick, wasn't it?
The gold standard.
The gold standard. Brady Quinn.
Brady.
Alex Mack had a good career. Joe Hayden, 2010, was the 7th pick.
Still going.
Phil Taylor.
Playing well for the Steelers.
Yeah, Phil Taylor, the defensive tackle
Disappointment.
in 2011. And Trent Richardson, which I think everybody now uses as the example of why you don't draft a running back in the NFL draft.
A lot of people were excited about Trent. A lot of people were bullish on him. So, I don't know. It's easy to second guess now.
And we continue
My boy
on.
Weeds.
How about this one, Brandon Weeden? I knew immediately that was a horrible pick.
You and I differed
I
on
had a
that
great
one.
conversation about golf with him. He's a great golfer, not a great quarterback. Barkevius Mingo, 6th pick of the draft. Yeah. Justin Gilbert, there's a gold standard for how about checking on a guy or talking to him at least at the combine. Johnny Manziel, what do we need to say about that? Anything? Danny Shelton, Cameron Irving, now with the Kansas City Chiefs, and Corey Coleman, 2016.
Yeah, and a ring for Irving. Did Shelton get a ring with the Patriots?
I believe he did.
And Irving got one with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Johnny Manziel didn't get one from American football or Canadian. All right, so the first round continues. Myles-Garrett, 2017, with the first
Automatic.
pick. Jabril Peppers, the jury's out on him because Greg Williams didn't use him properly. David Njoku, jury's still out on him because nobody's used him properly. Baker-Mayfield, jury's still out on him.
Yeah.
And denzel-ward. Is the jury still out on him or not?
I mean, Ward is a really good player when he's healthy. When he's available, he's really good. But Mayfield, he's got a lot to prove in 2020 because here's the thing. If Mayfield doesn't play well in 2020, I think we mentioned this on a show before.
Well, the money has to come into play.
That would be 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And with the, all-important third year in the books, do the new regime Browns look at him and go, you know what, we didn't draft him?
Well, they could have done that now for this upcoming season.
They know he's number one overall only 2 years ago. They want to see what he does in year 3. Yeah. But if he doesn't play well, I know this is conspiracy theory, but if he doesn't play well, presumably the Browns' record is bad, correct?
Yes.
If the Browns' record is bad, then we got to start the Jimmy Haslam watch again because you think he's going to sit there in 2021 and twiddle his thumbs while Barry and Stefanski try to sell him on 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, and he can say that. That's lip service, I think, if you say, well, we're going to give him 3 years or 5 years. He's not going to if things are going bad.
I think if they struggle in 2020 and Mayfield is struggling along with them, then all bets are off going into 2022.
2021. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. And you can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. Best price guarantee from Northeast Factory Direct. This is Les Levine speaking for them. They've been in business for 20 years now. It started with a bedroom set, or cabinet rather, in the garage out in Lakewood. Alex found out if you don't charge much because you don't have to pay the rent, you can save a lot of money for your customers, and it's worked for 20 years and continues to do that. And now he's able to offer the lowest prices, and they're offering a 1-year best price guarantee. Their prices can't be beat, and now it's guaranteed. If you buy furniture or hot tubs from Northeast, and within 1 year you find it advertised for less anywhere else, Alex is going to refund the difference. Same goes for custom furniture, Amish furniture, and hot tubs. Check them out at West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, or Freeway Drive in Macedonia. That's east, west, and south. Or shop online at northeastfactorydirect.com. Let's take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate Nature Stone's 30-year anniversary with a free Nature Stone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Nature Stone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Got your Ohio Lottery pick 3, I see.
Yup. Those glasses are hip.
Hip? Most people think I'm a square. But what's wrong with that? A box bet can increase your chances of winning. And what is a box? A square. There are so many ways to play. There's coming out the wazoo. Oh, shucks. Look at me yammering on. Put a lid in it, Picky Ricky. Play the Ohio Lottery Pick 3 today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
D-Man, time for a How Come Quickie. How come some TV weather people think we all want to have a science class when all we want to know is if it's going to rain or snow tomorrow?
Thank you.
Am I right?
It's incredible what these weather. I'm sure they're all fine people. They're incredibly smart. They know their craft, but my goodness
and
gracious.
The audience wants 20 minutes of weather and 2 minutes of sports, apparently.
I'm not even saying this vis-a-vis sports. I'm just saying that weather, it's too much. It's overkill.
Well, then you get an incredible
Unless
thing
you have
like
a serious,
Nashville.
Serious situation. Of course you're going to devote time to it.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, backup quarterback. We for years we've been looking for the regular quarterback. Now we're talking about a backup. So let's take a look at some of the candidates, and you can add to this list, D-Man. Start with Chase Daniels, 33 years old, 445 of 64 last year with Chicago. He played with the Saints before that, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Bears. And it's a total. I would have never guessed Chase Daniels has had 10 years in the books.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Case Keenum.
Missouri, I believe.
Yeah, Case Keenum is 32 and 8 NFL seasons, 62 NFL starts. And there you see the records. Went 11-3 with the Vikings and made it to the NFC divisional round in 2017. And of course, Kevin-Stefanski was there.
Yes.
Got to see it all. Colt McCoy, remember him? Used to be a Cleveland Brown. I think we remember him. He's 33. He's played 10 NFL seasons and has 28 NFL starts. 6-15 record with the Browns, 1-6 with the Redskins from 2014 to 2019. Then you have Marcus Mariota, who's only 26 years old, 5 NFL seasons, was benched in Week 6 last year in favor of Ryan Tannehill, and the Titans made a real good run without him.
Yeah, our buddy Dustin Fox has been beating the drum for Mariota. I don't know that Mariota would be willing to come here because, Mayfield is the solid number one.
Right.
And
for this
Mariota
year
would probably be told, look, you're not going to be competing to start in training camp. So,
and I don't picture Mariota as being a mentor for somebody at this stage of the game.
Good point. Mariota believes he has still has a lot of football in him, and he's still young enough. And remember how high he went. What was it, 2 overall behind Winston? So I think he's not the guy for the job. I think Daniel or Keenum makes a lot of sense. Keenum the most sense because of his familiarity with Stefanski.
And he could also say to himself, well, Stefanski's the new coach here. Baker better be really on his game or else he'll be gone.
Yeah, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I think Mayfield could benefit from somebody pushing him, but what you don't need if you're Stefanski in your first year is a quarterback controversy.
No, you got to come in.
You need a clear-cut number one when
number
training
one is
camp
Baker
starts.
Mayfield.
Exactly.
And I don't want to hear anything different.
The last thing he needs to deal with is every day who's got the lead.
Right. And then they can play it out as the season goes, and the results will be right on the field. No question about that. Any other quarterbacks out there that you can think of that you might like to take a look at?
Tom Brady. I mean, I can't think of any of the big name free agents, Brady, Rivers, Bridgewater, they're going to go and start somewhere.
But they're not going to go until Brady breaks the ice.
Well, Brady's got to be the first one, you would think. Now, Rivers, he's got credentials, and he's got an ego and a lot of pride, so he's probably saying to himself, I'm not going to sit around and wait for Brady. I'm going to go to the Colts. I'm going to go maybe to Nashville. I'm going to go to wherever, and I'm going to state my case or ask them to state their case. Rivers might be one of those guys that says, you need to wow me, I don't need to wow you because I'm in Brady's stratosphere.
Sure.
And we know he's not Brady, but in terms of being an all-timer, a really great quarterback over the course of time.
And you talk about Brady, and you mentioned the Titans. It seems to me that, I mean, there you have Vrabel, so that's Vrabel and Brady. I'm assuming that fits really good.
And the guy Robinson is there, the former Patriots front office guy. A lot of fits with Brady and the
What
Titans.
doesn't fit is the image because of the market size and the market that it is. That doesn't fit Brady.
And you wonder, if Tom Brady does decide to make the break from the Patriots, then I've got to believe Giselle has something to do with it. She's going to have something to do with the next stop because Brady says, hey, I'm going to leave the Patriots. Where would you like me to go?
Although it's only going to be 1 or 2 years. It's not like their whole life is...
True, but for all this time, Giselle's had to say, okay, Tom's a quarterback for the New England Patriots. Maybe Giselle says, you know what, Tom? If you're going to go, and I'm not forcing you to go, but if you are going to go, I would love for you to go to Vegas. And all of a sudden, he's a Vegas Raider. Or she says maybe she loves Nashville.
Yeah, well, I think that's the one that makes most sense, going to Vegas.
I think Vegas makes a lot of sense. I think the the Tennessee Titans makes a ton of sense. Older quarterback supported by Derrick Henry. You've got weapons on the outside. You have a defense, and, of course, Vrabel. Another one to watch out for is the Colts, because I'm sure the Colts feel like if they had had Andrew Luck, they were on the ascension 2 years ago. So, but I think those are three to watch out for sure.
Explore your interests. Find a program that puts you on a path to a bright future with Tri-C that offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. When we come back, there might be some news about the Francisco Lindor, and it might be hidden in Christian Yelich and his extension with Milwaukee.
I doubt it, but we'll talk about it.
Well, there's always some way to connect the two. We'll take a look at that and more when we get back with the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
If a piston makes it go, it's in this show. March Motor Mania takes over the 2020 Summit Racing Equipment IX piston-powered Autorama. March 13th, 14th, and 15th at the IX Center. Show cars, antique trucks, construction equipment, hot rods in the asylum, motorcycles, military vehicles, and themed car clubs. New for 2020, the Throwdown Monster Trucks and the return of Fat Man's Invasion. With Euros, imports, sport compacts, and lowriders. It's 12 and under are free. PistonPowerShow.com for details. Discount tickets on sale at Discount Drug Mart locations and Summit Racing Equipment in Talmadge.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery, Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. One of the greatest sports speeches of all time, March 4th, 1993. Jimmy V. Jim Valvano gives one of the great speeches in the first ever ESPN Awards ceremony. He died about a month later from bone cancer. I can't watch that without crying.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know why I do it.
Cannot touch my mind, cannot touch my heart, cannot touch my soul.
And the best part is the stagehand goes, hurry up. And he says, I'm dying here, and he's telling me 30 seconds.
In Italian? Yeah, in Italian he has he does one of those. Yeah.
He was one of the great teams or the games of all time, the NC State game over UNLV.
Yeah, and Les, I'm glad you mentioned that because I have watched that 30 for 30 on Valvano's run, the amazing run by the Wolfpack in that year. I've watched it so many times. It was 83, right?
Yes.
They barely beat Pepperdine in the first round. Right. Pepperdine had them. They were done. They were one and done. They had just won the ACC tournament to lock up a bid.
Right.
They fly out to the West Coast. I think it was Portland.
Well,
and
for the next game.
I think that's where the first round for the NCAA was.
Right.
And they're matched up against Pepperdine. And I remember Terry Gannon in the documentary in 30-30 saying, we're like, what's going on? It's no big deal. It's Pepperdine had them by like 6 with a minute to go. And they had foul shots to put North Carolina State away, and they missed a couple of 1-and-1s. And NC State barely survived Pepperdine and then went on to make history, sports history.
You ever been to Pepperdine?
I have not.
It's right on Malibu on a hill.
Hard to go to school there, huh? You know what? Honestly, Les, that's why I'm glad in one sense that I went to Northwestern, because from the moment I stepped foot on that campus until about 2 weeks before we left for summer break, it was cold, and we were right on Lake Michigan. So I had no real desire to do any beach combing or any of that.
Well, you can beach
crazy
comb in
stuff.
Malibu without that.
But yeah, I can imagine going to like UCLA or USC or Pepperdine or Cal Santa Barbara. I mean,
unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so Christian
Stanford.
Yelich is expected to sign a 9-year, $215 million deal. What is that per year?
That's a lot. But
it's 23, maybe 24.
It's not Lindor money.
All right, so let's take a look at, we're going to compare Christian Yelich to Francisco Lindor. Got about the same amount of years, 2 years left on his contract on both of these guys. So here you see Christian Yelich when he played with Miami. Of course, nobody watched Miami Marlins games, so who knew? But he didn't start putting up home runs.
You could see him start to emerge.
It took 4 years to get 21 homers, then 18, and then he moves to Milwaukee. And the results are a little bit different.
The beer tasted good.
It did. 36 homers and 44 homers, 110 RBIs in 2018. So he's expected to sign that deal. So let's take a comparison, a look at Francisco Lindor, who, by the way, hit a 3-run homer today without Terry Francona to watch. Lindor comes up in 2015. Remember how much the fans wanted him to come up earlier than that?
Yes.
The clock
absolutely.
was ticking.
And the Indians were hanging on so they could get him one more year.
They got that
control.
one right. So he's hitting 313, 301, 273, 277, and 284. Look at the home runs in his third year, fourth year, and fifth year, 33, 38, and 32. Then, well, there you have it. So 5 years in the bigs. Those numbers are only going to go up, right?
You would think. And plus he plays a premium defensive position. I mean, to me, there's no substitute for a great shortstop other than a great catcher.
Not that you should think.
Baseball.
Not that the Indians should think about selling tickets, because winning sells tickets.
Right.
But is he the most popular Indians player in history? Does he rival Rocky Colavito? Does he rival Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome? What do you think?
I mean, he's definitely going to end his, however long he's here, for however long, much longer. He'll go out that way as one of the most popular Indians ever, for sure.
Well, I think if he leaves, which I certainly expect him to do, I don't think the fans will treat him as they treated Jim Thome or Albert Bell.
No, I don't think they will. And I say this, Les, we were talking during the break. The way the Indians could do Lindor dirty, and I pray they don't do this, is offer him the Yelich contract, because they know full well that he's going to turn down the Yelich contract. And at that point, then the Indians would say, well, see, we were competitive. We tried to be competitive. We offered him a contract over $200 million when they knew full well he wasn't going to accept. So
well, they tried to
pray
do
that does not happen for both sides' sake.
Under different regimes, even though Paul Dolan was the owner, under different general managers, vice presidents of baseball operations. They did try that. Mark Shapiro tried that. I don't know if Chris Antonetti done that?
What's that?
Lowball the.
Well, yeah. What I didn't
highball.
like with Shapiro, his MO was a big free agent such as Tomey, such as Ramirez, gets lowballed by Cleveland, goes to a big market goes and finds a big contract, and then after that agreement in principle, here comes the reports that the Indians tried to sign him for 80% of that contract, which is false.
And the player's not going to get into a spitting contest on that because he's with the new team and he's looking forward to that. And he doesn't even want to respond to that.
Right, and that was especially true in the Tomey case. The facts of the matter are the Tomey offer by the Indians was 4 years for $42 million. It was put up on the Jumbotron at Progressive Field. The reality is he got more than $100 million guaranteed when you include his option from the Phillies. But then we heard, the Indians offered Tomey 60, 70, 80 million, which was not true. That was not a realistic offer. It was only thrown out there after he had accepted the Phillies offer.
Okay, so in your opinion, the Yelich deal today, $215 million, 9 years, will have nothing to do with the Lindor contract?
It will have nothing to do with it, even though it's tempting to think that. You have Midwestern market, middle market, Brewers, Indians. You think of them in a similar vein. But it's not going to happen because Lindor's market is much higher than Yelich's. And remember this, too. Yelich was playing under the Miami Marlins contract. Right. He was playing on the cheap. He had 2 more years of basically cheapness.
Right. They just ripped it up.
So they ripped that up. It's a different set of circumstances with Frankie Lindor. I'm still trying to tell Indians fans, don't expect for Lindor to stay beyond this year. If you do that, then you're either going to be pleasantly surprised or you're going to say, okay, it's business as usual. The one thing you don't want to be is terribly disappointed because you worked yourself into a frenzy that you were sure the Indians were going to sign Lindor to a $350 million contract.
Well, here's the thing. The first reaction when you hear about Yelich and you hear about some of these other contracts, you say, well, how can small market or medium-sized markets like Cincinnati, they're spending big dollars also. How can they do it and Cleveland can't? Well, the answer is Cleveland can. All baseball teams can do it. Every baseball team, although if this coronavirus situation does something to the season, if it doesn't do that, every team is going to make money no matter what their attendance is.
Yeah, that's always the fascinating calculus, I would think, that an owner makes, okay? The Dolan family can say, we don't want to deficit spend. All right, fine.
Yeah, Jacobs didn't.
But you know what? If the Dolan family calculated, hey, if we sell this franchise in 3 years, we're going to make potentially $500, $600, $700 million over more than what we paid. Even with, remember when we thought that Jacobs was fleecing the Dolans, and the Dolans paid what, in the 300s for it?
$325.
Well, now you're talking about a value of a franchise north of $1 billion. Right. So the Dolans, if they sold it today, would potentially make $500-600 million.
I mean,
would they be willing to deficit spend for a few years and cut into that eventual profit?
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly what happens. That you can say on paper this year they're losing money, but the reality is you could sign Lindor for name any number you want, because if you're planning on selling it in the next 3 years, you pass that on to them.
Right, and players say all the time, there is no way that a billionaire owner of a professional franchise is losing money.
Nope. The only one who did was Art Modell, and he lost it twice.
Yeah.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Les Levine for Northeast Factory Direct. East, West, and South, and of course, northeastfactorydirect.com is the place to go. You can get cabinets from the same kind of cabinets you can get at the big stores. You get it for half price or less. Check that out with all the fancy upgrades and all. They come standard on all the cabinets at Northeast Factory Direct, and they make it simple. Their free in-house design team can walk you through the process on an interactive big screen, and you can just see how the whole finished project is going to look. All other cabinet stores and big box stores are the same. They have fancy stores that cost a lot to maintain, to pay high commissions to their salespeople, and they have a lot of other tons of stuff and fluff. Northeast Factory Direct cuts all that out. All that's associated with traditional stores. You can buy nice stuff at really incredible prices from Northeast Factory Direct. We'll come back in a moment. Sokolowski's University Inn. I'll probably make my appearance there at about 1:15 on Thursday, as I usually do. You're all invited to join me. Well, that doesn't mean I'm paying, right? Just join me.
I don't know how you ever pay at Sokolowski's, Les.
I do.
You're such a legend.
Every time.
Well, I know, but I just would think somebody would pick it up for you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Sokolowski's University Inn. Been talking about them every day for about 26 years and hope to continue to do that over the next 26. Well, whatever. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your basement flooring again. Your concrete is uneven, damp, and not healthy. Carpet and tile don't last, breed mold and mildew, and give worthless warranties. Nature's Stone permanently corrects uneven concrete and is not affected by dampness or moisture. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of March. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Heart-pounding, fast-breaking action of college basketball is back when the 2020 Mid-American Conference Basketball Tournament returns to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse March 11th through the 14th. Presented by Visit Myrtle Beach. Pulses will rise and hearts will race as the men and women of the MAC put it all on the line. Tickets for the MAC tournament are on sale now online at rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com and at all Northern Ohio discount drug marts. MAC Tournament Basketball. Be there.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's take a look at this date in Les-Levine history. March 4th, 1961, D-Man. The Indians lose their Cactus League opener in Tucson. Les asks his father if they'll still be able to sell beer during future exhibition games since they lost the opener. Been using that every year for 30, 40 years, something. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We have a Facebook question of the day. Before I go over the answers, I'll ask you the question and you can respond. Why are the Indians not sold out on opening day?
A variety of factors, including weather, I would say. But even though you could say, well, it's bad
March
weather a lot.
26th scares you more than April 2nd?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not. I never tell people how to spend their money, so I'm not going to complain or anything like that. But it's possible that weather is being used. I don't think it's the Indians are not wowing us on the field, so we're going to hold back on opening day. There have been many opening days sold out when you knew the team was going to be garbage.
Sure, and you knew the weather was going to be bad.
Yeah.
216-575-0403. So that's our Facebook question of the day. Why are the Indians not sold out on opening day? Let's take a look at some of the responses. Chris Art says because it'll probably be snowing. Daniel Chick says it might snow and the temperature might be below freezing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we got Dave now.
Oh, Dave, I don't have Dave Shoup for some reason. So let's move on to the next one. Can we do that?
What were some other responses?
Computer mix-up. Let's blame it on the computer. I'll just read these. Gregory Mee says, I would say March 26 has a lot to do with it. Rick May says probably because of the uncertainty of who's going to be in the lineup and who's still left to be the starting pitcher, considering how many we might lose to injury between now and then. The fact there might also be several inches of snow on the ground has to be considered. Then you go to Dan Macy. Fans may be sick and tired of this front office's inactivity in the free agent market and Dolan's excuses for not signing Lindor. I could take a swing at that one, I think. You know the Lindor situation. If Paul Dolan, if they told you they're not going to sign Lindor now, we all knew that. Lindor's not going to accept an offer now.
Right.
Doesn't mean they won't put something on the table. But the other free agents, for whatever reason, they signed 8 or 9 outfielders. You got to try them out and see who's going to make it, as opposed to signing somebody other than Puig. Puig would make sense. But if you don't sign Puig and you sign somebody else, they're just one of 8 or 9 outfielders with a chance to make it or not make it.
And, there were other opening days under the Dolan ownership where people knew that the Dolans wanted to spend a certain amount and not go over and still sold out. So,
the 2016 team, the 2016 team that went to Game 7 against the Cubs.
Yes.
Not in order 1 through 9, but
you have to bring that up.
Well, can I bring up the starting lineup for the Indians on opening day that year in 2016? Not necessarily 1 through 9, just
we
infield,
put that
outfield.
graphic up the other day.
Oh, yeah, you were here.
Colin Cowgill was in that lineup.
Cowgill was in there. Marlon Burr.
Was Juan Uribe in there as well? Yeah, I mean, the opening day lineups are not automatically an indicator of how a team's going to do. The Hanley man from last year, when they were running him in and they ran Cargo in. Interestingly enough, of the 3 guys that I put 4 fingers down, of the 3 guys they ran through here, by my count, the 3 notables, you had Hanley, you had Cargo, and you had Cameron Maben.
Right.
Maben was the guy who never made it to the Indians, went to the Yankees, and played well for the Yankees. So I was like, too bad we couldn't have seen Maben, because Cargo flopped in 2 places, Cleveland and the Cubs, and Hanley man was, good for a couple of bombs, and that was it.
I still think that Paul Dolan, if the Indians are in contention by the trade deadline or the end of July, or June rather, I think he's going to put some money out to get somebody. I think he wants to make the best effort he can to win here. He doesn't like walking down the street and people riding him because he hasn't won. There's no way he likes that.
But the question is, how often does he walk down the street and get that? Does he insulate himself to all the people who are slapping his back saying, hey, we love you as a stable owner in Cleveland. We love you as a passionate Clevelander. How many times is he being told how wonderful his ownership is?
I don't know that answer. I'd never thought of it that way. I would have thought that they receive more criticism than you would think.
Well, that's true. I'm saying they can receive a lot of criticism. Question is, are they insulated from it? Is Paul Dolan insulated from it? Is he allowed to even see 90% of the criticism that comes his way? Does he care to listen to sports talk radio or sports talk TV or what have you?
That's his customers. That's his ticket buyers.
Well, but then think about the Greater Cleveland Sports Awards when he made a point to single out those in the loges. And those, worded it clumsily. You had the common fan in the wake of that saying, well, what about us? Because Paul Dolan's like, I really want to thank you who buy the loges and all that other stuff. He was obviously speaking to them in that audience, but I think he could have handled it better.
Don't you think most owners would have not necessarily a speechwriter, but somebody going over what they're going to say in a venue like that?
I mean, we all like Curtis Danberg. To me, anytime Paul Dolan speaks, he should run it past Curtis Danberg. I'm not saying Paul Dolan is not very smart, because he is. We know that. It's just that he's tripped himself up periodically with his word choice.
He made a bad choice saying he'll look forward to seeing Lindor play, and then it was a self-deprecating joke, and then he went on and repeated it in front of 1,200 people.
Well, yeah, that was the other part of it. He brings up at the Greater Cleveland Sports Awards that he made a bad joke about, or he made an off off-putting comment about Lindor and enjoy him while you can. So then he pokes fun at himself. Well, that's not what you want.
No,
and
because
on top of that,
most of the people didn't know what he was referring to anyway.
Right. He was having his own little inside joke. Look at me, I'm poking fun of myself. But here was the other part of it. All he had to do to say to that crowd, full of a lot of people who have wealth, is just say, hey, I want to thank all of you for your contributions to
allowing us to do what we do.
Indians. Yeah, you don't have to say, in particular, I want to tell you guys who buy the Loges how happy I am. No, just say thank you to everybody out there who has supported the Indians over the years.
There's a time and a place for that speech. That night wasn't one of them. 216-575-0403 if you want to get in on the last segment of the show. We also have the voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you can't get to us during the show, you can call us during the off hours. We do the show 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, but any other time of the day, you can find us on cleveland.com on the archive, and you can call us and leave us a message at 216-200-6650. We'll come back. We got a bunch of How Come Quickies and more. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature's Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of March. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
If a piston makes it go, it's in this show. March Motor Mania takes over the 2020 Summit Racing Equipment IX Piston-Powered Autorama. March 13th, 14th, and 15th at the IX Center. Show cars, antique trucks, construction equipment, hot rods in the asylum, motorcycles, military vehicles, and themed car clubs. New for 2020, the Throwdown Monster Trucks, and the return of Fat Man's Invasion. With Euros, imports, sport compacts, and lowriders. Kids 12 and under are free. PistonPowershow.com for details. Discount tickets on sale at Discount Drug Mart locations and Summit Racing Equipment in Talmadge.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Dan Lobby will be here. He's the one on the left. He'll be here tomorrow night from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. Again, we do it from 6 until 7 Eastern Time.
Great dude.
He's a good guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's... I want to mention something tomorrow morning at 7:30. If you're looking on the east side looking for breakfast and some sports entertainment, we've got it at Buffalo Wild Wings on the Harvard exit at 271. I will be there hosting it, and it's called Less is More. We'll have me hosting a panel with, let's see if I get them all right, Andy Baskin, Adam the Bull, Jonathan Peterlin, Aaron Goldhammer, and who am I missing?
That's all I had
I
in
think
the
that's
advertisement
it. Well,
that
if
I
I
heard
missed
on the
somebody,
radio.
I apologize for it. But that'll be tomorrow morning, 7:30. You'll be out of there by 9. If you're on the east side, stop on by Buffalo Wild Wings at Harvard and I-271. I got to set my alarm. I got to go to sleep as soon as I get home. All right. Alex in the control room. See, John Patrick, who is a longtime contributor to the show, he said he's currently tied with Joe DiMaggio as with the hitting streak, the most consecutive shows with a quickie. And he's had knee surgery, and I'm not sure why that would preclude him from sending in quickies, but apparently it is. And hopefully, John, you're doing all right with that. But Alex thinks we have to make up for the fact that we don't have John. So Alex writes a How Come Quickie. How come people tell me I have trouble focusing on one topic? Hey, look, there's a squirrel. It's funny, believe me.
Okay. All right.
Can't concentrate on one topic. Hey, there's a squirrel.
Got it. All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought I was
Alex,
thinking that focusing meant focus on the squirrel.
Alex doesn't have to do that, even though he thinks he has to cover for John, who's out. I gave him a How Come Quickie the other day. He's still laughing. I'll tell you as soon as the show is over. Only because I like my job. Stu just wrote in. Got in under the wire. How come if Mayfield doesn't get into shape, has a great year, and signs a big contract, he'll be known as the Little Doughboy? Dough meaning money. Roger writes, how come I was wildly enthusiastic about the Browns, and this year I'm seriously enthusiastic? How come there's no more sports and Les Maurice? Doug Les Maurice was here 2 nights ago.
Love delay.
How come you never see the hashtag? You know anything about that?
That's good.
It is good. Big Ed. How come when the magician said he can do his next trick in Spanish, he said uno, dos, and disappeared without a trace? Uno, dos, and trace. How come most people are shocked when they find out how incompetent I am as an electrician? They're shocked by the whole thing. Mr. Gullible comes in.
I love Gullible. Is this going to be one of those where I have to check to make sure?
It's one of those I need to check if I could. Listen, the opinions and quickies given by our audience are not necessarily those of More Sports and Les-Levine. How's that? How come the only drink size allowed in North Korea is the Supreme Leader? L-I-T-E-R.
Yeah.
It's close. How come when there's a will, I want to be in it?
I like that.
I was with Mr. Gullible a couple weeks ago at Sokolowski's, and he brought his friend Mr. Cynical. So we had Mr. Cynical and Mr. Gullible at the same time. You got a final comment for about a minute? You got a minute left in that think tank of yours?
I just hope Tito's okay.
Yeah.
I wish him a speedy recovery. And I haven't read
and
anything
it's March
yet, but yeah, hopefully it's just something that flared up on him and he'll be all right. But you know what it is about Tito Francona? We may not really appreciate him until he's gone. Yeah, and I mean gone like retired.
Gone is not
yeah, it'll be like, oh, why didn't we have a great manager in the dugout for the longest time? Oh, that's right, Terry Francona
How about
was
if you never notice who the manager is? He's doing a good job.
Yes. He and Millsy do a fantastic job as a dynamic
duo.
I
don't know how you can calculate how many wins they're worth or losses they cause. My guess is a good manager may win you 4 or 5 games, and a bad manager can lose you 8 or 9.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I know the Brainiacs have tried to do that. They've tried to assign a value to a good manager based on algorithms and everything. But I think there's so many human elements to what a manager does, decisions that he makes, the countless decisions in each game that have to do with human element and stuff that's tough to quantify.
Grover once told me a manager makes about 100 decisions a game, and you only know if the relief pitcher blows up.
Right, and I'd say the majority of those are ones that are hard to quantify. You can't just say, well, okay, I took him out because he has a 6 ERA against lefties after the 7th inning. No, there's feel. There's a lot of feel to this.
And how about if the pitcher says, I only got 1 inning in me today? That doesn't show up on analytics.
Exactly. And a pitcher and the manager takes the hit if he takes him out too early.
All right, let me just finish up with asking you this analytical question.
Yes.
You have all the stuff of this guy hits this against this guy, and he hits the ball here, and he hits the ball there. I've got to assume they're looking at the batting order and saying, well, it's traditionally the same as it's been since 1901. Leadoff guy gets on, number 2 moves him up, number 3 drives him in, number 4 is a home run hitter. Isn't there some study done to see if it might be better to have a Lindor batting 6th or 7th? I mean, I think you'd want him up as often as you can, but is there some strategic element in there that makes sense if you move a guy, one of your better hitters, down in the lineup?
Again, I think those studies have been done, and I don't know exactly what the results of them have been, but in terms of where should your best players hit, where are they most valuable, based on, among other things, how many times are they coming up, how many times are they expected to come up with runners on base. It can vary from team
Scoring
to team.
position less than 2 outs.
Right. It can vary from team to team. If you have a team that doesn't have a lot of talented players and you have a star, I would think you want that star at the top of the order. If you have a bunch of guys that you think are capable of getting on base, I want my star sitting and lurking in the middle of the lineup so he can drive them in.
Okay, so the best position for Lindor on this team might be leadoff and some other team might be third.
Correct. But I think the Indians can say, you know, if we can convince Carlos to do it, for example, as a leadoff man, or let's say Mercado blossoms, they can say we have enough to put in front of Lindor batting third. But right now, I like to see him lead off, but I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think Lindor wants to lead off.
He wants bigger numbers, right? All right, that'll do it for us. Great job by the D-Man as always. WTAM.com is the place to find him, and on 1100 WTAM. I'll see you tomorrow with Dan Lobby of all the shows I've ever done. This was the most recent.